Friends, today I'm standing next to this image of St. Thérèse of Lisieux. I put this together to honor her. A lot of times we wonder, how do saints really help us, and can they really help us? I wanted to tell you the story behind this. In 1991, I was still trying to figure out my vocation. I was 28 years old, and I was in a parish at St. Catherine's in Valley City. I began to just really have a lot of anxiety about being 28 and not having my vocation figured out. So I started this huge prayer routine. I would pray for 4 hours every day and do Eucharistic adoration, lay on the floor in the form of a cross and offer myself to God. The two ways of life, the single life with the possibility of marriage or the priesthood. And I just began to pray to God to give me some kind of a direction and to make it very clear to me. So I was praying with this prayer group at St. Catherine's in Valley City, and they were really nice people. They would pray with me, and one of the ladies, Pat Baumgartner was her name. She gave me this little prayer card of St. Thérèse of Lisieux and said, you know, if you pray this novena, it'll end on her feast day. You know what the story is with St. Thérèse? Like, if you get roses on the 9th day of your novena, that means that the prayer is answered. And I was already doing this huge prayer routine, so I begrudgingly said, one more prayer. So I threw it on right at the end, just really half-heartedly, you know, and I set it up so if I got roses, that meant I was called to the priesthood. So on October 1st, on our feast day, I woke up and I just had this attitude, you know, I was just like, what's this whole rose thing about? I'll show you what this rose thing is about. I'm going to go and buy you a dozen roses, because they had this little side chapel at St. Keith's in Valley City. Where it had a statue of St. Thérèse and there was a relic of her in there. So I hopped in my 77 Ford Thunderbird. And this was a covert op, okay? Nobody could know about it. So I hopped in and drove to the flower store and said, can I have a dozen roses? And while I'm in the store, this little saint, she's like, I don't know, I got this, like, what do you call it? Like a locution or whatever. But I could tell that she was kind of giddy that I was doing it. But at the same time, she was kind of like jealous. I don't know, it was just so weird. Anyway, so I get the roses, you know, I drive around St. Kate's, and then I pull it off. I put those roses in there. And I think I even put some kind of snarky little note, like, here's your roses, St. Thérèse. So I'm such a, wow, I just can't even believe I did this, you know? So anyway, so I get out of the chapel and someone walks by the sidewalk and they say, hey, you know what? Ben Franklin's going out of business. We have to go. It's 50% off. So, well, of course you got to go because it's 50% off. It's Ben Franklin. So we went down there and I opened the door into Ben Franklin, and I don't know, here's this woman and she had an armful of roses. And when I opened the door, she looked up at me and smiled. And I thought, oh man, you know, but then I looked closer and I looked at the roses and they were plastic. So I don't know, you guys, what do you think? If they're plastic, does it count or doesn't it count? I mean, is that a sign or isn't it a sign or whatever? You know, so this was the status of my mind. I was just going nuts trying to figure this out, you know? So anyway, so that night I went into my prayer routine. And I don't know what happened, but this saint, St. Thérèse of Lisieux, look at her. She's so cute. Anyway, so I don't know what happened, but she, through her prayers and her intercession, she brought me into the presence of the Lord. Okay, so, and you know what the Lord said to me? He said, what gives yourself the greatest joy in giving yourself to me? And for me, this was like a huge revelation in my vocational journey, because up to that point, you know, I'd overcome a lot. God helped me overcome a lot of darkness in my life, and he literally saved my life. And so I was kind of like in payback mode, like, okay, you did all these really great things for me, so I'm going to pay you back by being a priest, you know. So this revelation to me was it was a very big deal to me, because it helped me realize that a vocation is fundamentally about joy. And that's all because of the prayers of this little saint. So I put this together to honor her. You see there's a little relic in there. And also, you guys, get this. These are plastic roses.